Okay, so he grew potato. Even when the bar, if its mouth is to the outside of Habayis, towards the house, Shane Amaze with the dead body's not there. So we have this barrel full of stuff, or this box full of stuff, and its mouth is if it's towards the house, meaning its backside is towards the dead body. Higu Fatechos, itself, the barrel or box should block the Tuma. Doha Klicharish ain't a Matami Megab because the Klicharish doesn't Matami from its backside, and if it's sticking its back to the Tuma, that should block it up. Lotrich, the Gemara says, not needed Ella the Puma Legabit, so its mouth is to the inside, towards the dead body, and therefore you can't use the box or the barrel, you have to use the stuff inside of it, which needs to be able to stand on all the other rows. If you want to say it has this mouth to the outside, away from the dead body, and its back is to it. Here what we're dealing with is with a barrel which is metal, and therefore it makabel tuma even from its backside. Mace, I ask you a question. If you have grass which you uprooted them, because you put them in the window, or they grew on their own, the colonos inside the windows, and metalonios, fine, in the windows. Matlonios shem bam shalosh, or pieces of cloth which don't have 3 by 3, they're very, very small, not considered any kind of baggage. The aver, or some sort of limb which is left there from a body of some sort, however it got there. Bba Basra, or flesh which is sort of hanging out. The behemoth from an animal. Or by a wild animal or by a bird. If they happen to be dwelling in the window. Or a guy which sits in a window. Or an 8-year-old kid an 8-month-old kid who's sitting in the window. 8 months is not enough according to the Gemara to live, and therefore it's for sure going to die. It's not considered a real kid. The melch with and salt and okay. So there's a 7th-month baby which could live, an 8th-month baby can't live. You have to know it was exactly 8 months, and there's a lot of situations. But if you know that it's a dead baby, for sure it's 8 months and it's not going to make it. And the science back then is still around now, then that would be the same thing. Okay. Ben Shmona Hamona Mechalon, Vamelch Valkliferis, and the salt and the pottery shard. The Sefer Torah and the Sefer Torah, Kulam Maitim Bechalon, all those things can decrease the window, make it less. But snow and hail, glid and frost, kfor and other types of, I think it's other types of frost. I'm not sure. It's definitely to do with some form of frost. Either one's ice and one's frost, or like something like that. And the water, kulam in ma'it and b'chalon, all those things can't decrease the amount of measure of b'chalon. So how could you say that a savim or ma'it b'chalon? You're telling me there's a rule. This is what you just said, that if you're going to take it, then use it for something, then you can't use it to block up a window because you're going to take it. That's why we couldn't use the. Oh no, what's going on here? That's good. That's why we couldn't use the. Well, that's why we couldn't use the raw kick. Yeah, so we couldn't use the little piece of wafer. Okay. Cool microphone. Apple Shelly, we're fine. But cover mime, cooling, and microphone. Vahan savim chazlevim. So how could you use a savim? They're going to be fitting for your animal, and you're going to take them, give them to your animal. But for us, so the answer is that for us. So let's see Rashi. Rashi says, She'ain bo shalosh shalos doesn't have 3 by 3. She'ain makabel tama, that's too small to accept tama. Hamadudalim, which is like hanging off. Shatot she'telushin me umurin, that they're cut, it's detached and like sort of hanging. It mixes a little bit. Behema umedis itzla chalon, the animal standing by the window. Ve'ever munach al chalon, and the limb is resting on the window. V'tanan be'over rotev and meloiz and over rotev to mitamin tomas auklim b'makom. They can mitamin the food toma in their place. But we can have to. Yeah, they could be mitamin the toma from of food when they're like a limb, but they need a hafsha. They need some sort of water to fall on them and to be designated for that water for they want it there. But these Ve'elo Shir, this stuff wasn't hafshed and there was no water and it didn't come ready for tuma. If you have a guy, Ain't Makabal Tuma, can't accept Tuma. Within Ben Shmonas, and similarly an 8-month baby, Shari who come Evan because he's like a stone, low five mace, not alive, not dead. Hamel, salt. Lo Makabal Tuma doesn't accept Tuma, the level Hukas not food bound, Pinafshi on its own. Not its own, you can't eat salt. You could eat salt on something, can't eat salt. Kli Cheres, pottery vessel, Shafal the Tzaro of Tuma, and his back is towards the side of Tuma, of the tent of Tuma. Vashalam Gabarad, all those things. However, when you can't use these things since they melt on their own. So ice, water, and all that other stuff, they become melted on their own. In Maitin, they don't detract from the measure of there was a big enough hole to send it somewhere, now there still is. You can't use water to cover it. Similarly, Mayim Shabakli, similarly water in a vessel. However, since if you would take the Kli, the vessel, they wouldn't stay on their own. The water would fall down. And so then they can't decrease the amount in the window. See, I mean, in the vessel they'll stay, but if we take away the vessel, they're going to go away. Therefore, you can't use them. It's considered like they're falling away. Habarad, that's Ilsha, that's hail. Kakfor is Gerishla, I think that's frost. Haglid is Karach, that's frost. Love, it's a white frost, Inom Shalag, which is not snow. Cause of the hemto, but there's grass just fitting for your animal. So from this on the end is to take them. Afilu hachli kol the isnu, and still as long as they're there, awesome they are there. They are being used as a reducer, and they're mamai in the window. But you have the Shmuel, so this proves the Shmuel said since the wafer is gonna be taken, you can't use it. So the answer was no. We're talking after Susa. Dalid. Sam, you garson Afrazosa, and it's some sort of like poison or medicine. Some of this poison, death potion. Libahim for an animal. Among the guards for the Arzafasa, the one who has the gears of Arzafasa is always making a mistake. Shu Kornish al-Nafachim, that's a blacksmith's hammer, that couldn't possibly be what the grass is, but a grass could be a poisonous grass. Okay. Buffers also. So the Bach adds in Chazi Lasok, it's fitting to make a fire out of it. The Lachim, they're wet. So then the Gemara continues. Oshol the Medalim, or they grew on their own. Next case, the grass grew on its own. Keeping the Kosh, since they're hard, it's bad for the wall. Shakalu, you're going to take them and get them out of there. And you should again have Shmuel's problem. Amar Rava says, because support, but we're talking about the wall of a ruin, which is blocking between the Tama and this. Papa says a few because the Yishuv, even because they were talking about a dwelling wall, a regular wall. But boy, chutz mishlosha lechon. They come from outside of three from the wall, where it's not really hurting the wall, and they're very tall, and they get into the window. They turned and bent and everything and stuffed the window. Great plants do that. The shlosha lecholon, they went from outside of three into the window. Matlon is okay. Rashi says. Causes of behemto v'sofalitum and feel hacha kol kama disnu. Yeah, we did that one. Keeping the kosher the closest into the heart of the wall, shemachlidin also that they make it loosen the wall, like they loosen the dirt under the wall, or they loosen the wall itself. And I mean in shakulhu, as we said, b'masis, and it says in the Mishnah, shakulhu, you have to take them, meaning we said it makes the dirt under it, beside the wall, very bad, and then that dirt destroys that. You need to have solid base, and these plants are destroying that solid base. So he's going to take them and get rid of them, and make sure he has a good solid base for his wall. But still it will decrease the measure to allow tumah and say you can now no tumah is going through. The question of Shmuel says if the wafer couldn't. The shlosh is going outside of three tefachim, brachim and a coast, 3 tefachim away from the wall. The olim the tochel halon, they're going up into the window. Rashem, their heads are getting into the window. Madlani is supposedly the kriya, but a piece of cloth is fitting for a tear. The lubsha, the labusha for a tear in the clothes. Besmichta, the answer is it's smichta. Rash is obvious and midai, it's very thick, more than necessary, and not very. Because the kriya Rash says last of slides make a patch. Chazalam, that's fitting for bloodletting. The make Rash says the make is dumb, the kanech be a makkah for someone who bloodlets to wipe up the mouth of the wound, so you're still going to take it. Bariska, the answer is Rashi says that it scratches. It's a very scratchy piece of cloth. Whereas Gemara says Bariska sheim b'shalosh shalosh sheim. If we're talking about a scratchy piece of cloth, which seems to be a sack kind of thing, so sheim b'shalosh shalosh, which doesn't have 3 by 3, sheim b'arba arba, it doesn't have 4 by 4. I mean, but that's what needed to be said. Rashi says im behem arba arba miboile shazuhi shir shel sack. This is the measure of a sackcloth. The Gemara says ke'ein riska. It's similar to riska, but it's very scratchy. But it's not quite as much as, I don't know exactly what the difference materials, but it's used for even by 3 by 3. No, but it's not. It's scratchy material like sack, but it's not sack. Okay. Gemara says ve'ever Bba Basra meduldalim. If you have a limb, or you have flesh which are sort of hanging out of an animal, behema, or b'chayev, or by an animal, or by a wild animal. Arkavazl, the Gemara says it's just going to get up and run away. But Kishore, the answer is tied. Shachla is going to shach the animal, and the man is going to use it and eat it. But Tamea, it's a tummy animal that can't eat it. He's going to sell it to a guy. But Kachusha, it's very weak, it's not worth eating. Pasuk shot a little glove, he's going to cut it up and eat it, throw it to his dogs. Even the Ikatzar Balechayim lo of it, since he's going to cut, so meaning he's not assuming he's going to cut the piece off from the limb and throw it to his dog. He's going to feed that limb to his dog, a torn off piece. The answer is given the Ikatzar Balechayim, since there's Balechayim, because the animal doesn't like getting his limb cut off. Law of it, he's not going to do it. If your bird is dwelling in a window, Parafaz is going to fly away. The kosher is tied. Shachale, he's going to shaft it and eat it. It's tummy, and therefore he can't eat it. Okay, he can't eat it, but he can sell it to a guy. Beklanisa. Rashi says, Beklanisa. Cockles a weak bird mode, very weak. Vein royal shum adam. It's not fitting for anyone. It's not worth it. Yov lily yanuka, give it to a kid. He'll play with it. Miss Sorry, it scratches. It's a very scratchy pad. Can't use it. Clanisa lo sorry. If it's a clanisa, it's not going to scratch. Ain't clanisa. It's similar to a clanisa, meaning it's very very weak, but it's not. Actually, cockles clanisa is very weak like a clanisa, but whom sorry, but it's scratchy, not like a clanisa. In next case, in the Ovi of a guy which is sitting in the window, Kai Vaz is going to get up and go. Kav is tied. Asi Kavre, surely his friend is going to get him and loosen him. Bimitzor, we're talking about he's a mitzor and he can't, no one, he's a leper, no one's going to touch him. Everyone wants to get away from him. Asi Mitzor Kavre, leper's friend is going to take him. Surely. El Bachavushim, the Gemara says, Really Bachavushim, Malchus, we're talking where the king told him, you got to stay there and you're locked up, you can't, no one's going to argue with the king. He needs to capture them. Ben Shmona Hamuna Bachalon and his 8th-month kid who's sitting in the window. His mother's going to come and pick him up. For Shabbos, the answer is on Shabbos. Can't pick him up. The Tanya Ben Shmona Hari Hukam Eben, he says an 8-year-old kid, he's like a stone. Also, the Talmud of Shabbos also moving on Shabbos. And I think Tulsa says, and after Shabbos, we're assuming he's dead because he's a ghost. Avol imo shocha love. What the mother could do is, if she really needs to, she can bend over the kid, manika, and feed the kid and nurse the kid. Nehas kana because of her risk of having too much milk. Salt is fitting for him. Salt is fitting. So how can it be my bachalon? You could just take the salt and use it. It's bitter salt. It's no good. It's fitting for tanning. The coat, there's thorns in it. It's no good. Rashi says, "Be sorry as the other one will scratch his hands." Keeping the kosher of the coat still chocolate, since it's hard for the wall to salt, and he'll take it. Rashi says, keeping the kosher of themselves because it's not misnisan, as we learned in our Mishnah. The answer is sitting on a pottery shard, and if it's not really hard for the wall, because the pottery shard is separating it from the wall. The pottery shard itself should be enough to make separation for the wall. Still less, but here the answer is there's not enough measure. And have to command the lesson as if it's not there. Not sure what he means by that, what Rashi means by that. Okay, Kidditnan. So again, this could be Kidditnan, and they change it to no. Kidditnan is learned in the Mishnah. Teretz Kedei Litim Ben Patzim. Its pottery has to be enough to put between the shutters. The chaver to its friends. Klicheres. So that's a big enough for pottery. Klicheres chazile. Next case, a klicheres. He's fit next to the Rashi. Cheres, Leini Notzal Shabbos, in regards to this Mishnah was taught in regards to Shabbos, Kedei Lite in Vein Patz Nochaver, in order to put between one of the shutters and his friend, B'tzimi Achalonos, the shutter-like things, which of the windows, Shabbakosul Marchikin Zem is that in the wall, we they distance them from each other, the two of them, Barochav Achalon, with the width of the Achalon, Likanis or to let in the light, or the light, Bein kol between each one. V'nosin b'chom, and you put into the wall. Put these things in the wall. L'mayet l'mata l'mala, top and bottom. Cheres rachav, a white piece of pottery. Bein zel is between this one and this one. The top v'ted, and you play plaster on top of those potteries. V'cheres av v'havi sham kevin, and the pottery is very thick and is there like a stone. Make some form of windowsill. and I guess the tzime lonas are like the poles of the window. You distance them from each other along the thing, and you put on top these potteries. I tell my bottom and put plaster on them. Okay. The answer, klicharis, next case, it's hafazilay. You can use the klicharis. The mitan if it's dirty. Hazilamna, it's fitting for a bloodletting. And you put blood in there. You don't care how dirty it is. That blood is dirty. The menakav, that it's got a hole in it, and then you can't put blood in it. It's going to go right through. Sefer Torah chazi lemikra. If it's Sefer Torah is fitting to read. Bibali, it's all worn out. You have to bury it. Rashi says, "Misakol b'leganzer," and you're going to take it away to bury it. Sham take Ras Ginizasa, there should be its burial place, and it's just going to stay there. Amar Rav says, B'chol osin mechitza, with everything you can make a separation, chutz mimelach, aside from salt, ravav, and ravav. Okay, let's see. Rashi says, Emnei shamelch mispazer, v'ravav nitain nitach kishem tach miskamim, because the salt will just spread all over the place and go away. The ravav is going to be melting when it gets hot. So something which melts, I'm not sure. Shmuel says even salt. Amar Papa Papa says lo pligi. They're not arguing. Hava melech sedomis, hava melech is teroknis. This is stomis salt, and this is teroknis salt. Stomis means av of the kashal of the cabin. It's thick and it's hard like a stone. Hashadam Rabba Osan Adam. Now the Rabba says, Osan Adam Shnei Tziburi Melech. A person can make two piles of salt. Maniach Lem Karim, put upon on the brick, and now we'll make sure it doesn't fly away, the salt. Sham Melech Mamedis is a korah, because the salt stands up the pole. The korah of Mamedis is a melech, and the pole stands up the salt and keeps it from flying away. Afilu melech is to run ruknis, even if the salt is ruknis salt and not so thick. Okay. Below pligi, hadiku korah b'hadalek korah. So you could say there's still no argument. This is when there's a beam on top, and there's no beam on top. It's a beam on top. It's not going away, and therefore you can use it to block. It's not flying away. But if there's no beam on top, then it's going to fly away. Mel tzedomis. Okay. Shnei tziburi mel. Two piles of salt. Gavor Masor, they're 10 tefachim tall. 8 close to Mavi, by the end walls of the alleyway. Umaniel Shnei Rosh Koris, and you put the two ends of the beam, Hamavoi, a layam of the Mavi on top of them. Shekovid Akor Mambinas, the Melech of the thickness of the beam will hold the salt. Okay. Marchikin has the Rechaim, give him in a shachov, Shein Arbim and a Bracha, which says you distance the Rechaim 3 from the shachov part of the Rechaim, the bottom part, Shein 4, which is 4 from the top part of the mill. My time, what's the reason for this? You have to distance from the wall. Because of the shaking. Okay. Voha Tanya Vishal Chomer, Shlosha Mina, it's the Lobian Wilshin Arbim in a Kelach, where we start by a Chomer. Vishal Chomer, Rashi says Rechaim Shal, that means it's Rechaim for of a donkey. It's the Lobo who Moshe for Rechaim, that's the bottom of the mill. Shabatocha Klipa, which is inside the shell or the bark of the tree, Shakorin Sarka. So it's the holding for the mill there. You have to get 4 away from that, which is inside the. Okay. So Gemara is asking, Watani Shalchamar Solomon is Lobishin Arvmin Kelach, which is 3 from the Kelach. Rashi says, He a processus shikorin trimero, which is the okay a processus which is called the trimero. Okay. Hasamaito yurk there. What kind of shaking is there? There is there. Rechaim katanim v'kalim him. The very Rashi says they're very small and light mills. The init karka mar begilgul, and the ground doesn't get shaken by their moving. It's very easy to do. Very calm, not so shaky. And the Gemara answers Ela Mishum Kol. It's because of the voice. Yesh Meforshim Kol Hanhaga Sakamara. It's because some say it's because of the call of leading the donkeys. It's going to be they're going to neigh and everything, whatever. Yesh Meforshim Kol Rechaim. Some say it's the sound of the Rechaim, even though it's not very shaky, it's very noisy. Lo Yamad on the Tan V'Tzol Chavayis. The person shouldn't stand a tanner inside of a house. Elim Kain Yeshal Gab of Gova Arba Amos. Unless there is on top of it 4 Amos air space above the oven. If you were putting it in the attic, you have to have under you plaster 3 tvachim. Bakira tavach, and by akira you can do 1 tavach. Vim hezek, mishalim mash hezek. If you damage, you have to pay what you damage. If Shimon Omer, lo Omer el kol shirim halak hailu, they only said these measures. El shim hezek patim in the sham. That it only is that if you damage, then you would actually be patim from pain. Lo yitzach adam chanos shal natom, the person shouldn't open up a storehouse of a baker, a shel time or a dyer's place. Underneath some sort of storage place of your friend, and you can store your friends in the attic, and you're building a store or whatever for a bakery. So destroy the guy's stuff in the attic, storehouse in the attic. Or if it's okay, not a fertilizer pit. I'm sorry, not a place where you keep cattle, because it's very smelly. It's going to damage the stuff above. The MSBI in Assyrian truth and wine, they allowed it. Avalo Refisbacher, but they didn't allow a Refisbacher to be under a wine place. So by wine, the storehouse, it would be okay to have these other stuff, but not a Refisbacher. Elam Kenya Shogavrash says, Polo Govaramas, airspace which is 4 high, tall, 4 arms tall. The P has Hana from the mouth of the oven, out of tickle until the roof. Kadesh Shalo after Yachos or Bitikla, in order that the light, the fire shouldn't hit the roof. Aji Hay Tassim was even until it should be plastered underneath it. Just to reef Falaz. Tioch Karko Gimel Tvachim, it's plastered on the ground 3 Tvachim. Full to the Tivar, tickler shouldn't destroy, burn the roof. Tafsayim underneath it. When you shouldn't burn the roof underneath it, shall of the attic, meaning it'll burn the roof below him, which is the start of the attic. Valgabov Dalanamas, and you would need on top of him 4 almas of empty space. Bakira Maziva Tefach, like here you don't need 3 tvachim, you can just use 1 tefach. Api Kliseris is also a pottery vessel, Shofsin Kedera al Chola, you put on a pot on top of its airspace. The Enos and the Tocha has to go, but you don't make inside of it such a great fire. Commercial, sometimes you do in a full oven. Vim Hesik, if you do light it up, if you do damage someone, and it burns up someone. Afterwards, all these measures, you did everything, but it's still damaged. Halalu, Mishal and Masha Hesik, you pay what you damage. From PK, and even still, Marak, then as Allah, Ashken, the relatives can stop the Harfik, the Kol, Ashin, Shirum. They can stop him to make him distant for all these measures. Halalu, Shema Yazik, maybe he will light it up. And even though he's going to have to pay if he does light it up, still you have to. They can tell you, okay, you can't make the oven even if you're going to pay. You have to distance. Shema Yalik Patimia will burn down the house, and the Malashon won't have what to pay. He's empty. Biyayin or bankrupt. B'yayin etir, by yayin they allowed it. Im haya otzer shel yayin etiru l'stoach tachto chanos shel natom. If it was a storehouse of wine, they allowed you to open up a bakery underneath it. It's voyim or a dyer shop. She'ena oshin kosh l'yayin, because smoke is not hard for wine, it doesn't hurt it. The Gemara says, but below ref, I'm sorry, one more Rashi. Below ref of you can't use a place to graze cattle. Shabriach kosh l'yayin, because the smell is bad for wine. Gemara says, "V'atanya matanya arba b'kirish losh." But we learned in a price of the v'atanya you have to have 4 tefachim underneath, and b'kirish losh and a kiri you only need 3. Not like our Mishnah which said 3 and 1, just saying 4 and 3. Amar Bayim, it says kitanya he bide nachtoimim. Talking about a baker's oven and kira oven. The tanner they done kira the nachtom because our tanner is like a kira's tanner. Rashi says v'hatanya linina mido balia. But we learned in the Bryce in regards to keeping it in the attic. Betaner, Betaner arbud maziva. We said 4 tefachim of plaster been tucked out underneath them. Ubekirish loshen by a kira oven 3 tefachim. We're talking about a baker's. Shemasikan also tell me that we constantly light it up. We're talking about a kira's oven of bakers. Tanadinon our ovens. The Be Tana the Masnisim that our Mishnah gave it a sheer Gimel measure 3 tvachim. The kira the Nachtom that's similar to the kira of the Nachtom of the bakers that strong, and therefore it would need, as that big a fire needs 3 tvachim. And bakers need, their ovens need 4 tvachim. Lo Yistachan is a person trying to open up a store. Underneath this old storehouse. Tanim Haisuraf is Baka Kodemis. It would be that the place to raise cattle was there first. So it was before the storehouse. Mutter, it's fine. Later, Rabbi asks the question, Ketzim Bribitz Otzer. And keep it Bribitz so that's you swept up and you put down the dust and it looks very much like you special things you're doing to make your storehouse place. Is that good enough? Mahu, is that considered your first? And even though the guy got to drop his bucket in there before you finished, but you started already. Rebe Mechalonis, so is that really true? Rebe Mechalonis, you added more windows, which again is sort of make more windows for a storehouse to get it airy, much more than you would need for a living place. So they take out this outside of Tafas Osher Mahu, and in the Bach takes it out. Bana Aliyah Al Gabi basically built a whole attic on top of his house. Mahu, what's the luck of this? So then he was second, but he built a whole attic for it. He didn't show what he was using the attic for, but that was the whole point of him building this attic. Gemara says Teku. We don't know the luck in those cases. Let us stand. Rav Huna says very to Rav Yeshua and the son of Rav Yeshua. Tamar Rimoni Mai Teku. If you have dates and pomegranates, what's the luck? Are they going to get damaged by this rapid spark or fire? And Teku. Rashi says keep it very busy, so you swept up and put down the dust. Gago, you did it for you on your roof. L'tzorach otzer for the needs of the storehouse. V'lo speak lahachtis lotzvur. You didn't have enough time to put in their grain. Ad shepasuk zech on this taflim until this person put a storehouse under it. Mihavi kekodem laotzer. Is that as if you're before the otzer, before the storehouse? Delmore, maybe the kibbutz rivitz have kekodem laotzer. Or maybe since you swept up and you put down the dust, it's like you became, if the otzer was first, because you're ready to make the otzer. Rivu echalonis, you put a lot more windows, but he also in his roof. The gully daited shel otzer who, and he's revealed his mind that he's making for an otzer, he's making it. Sheikanis lo avir that should enter an airspace lo yirkav hatzibul, the grain shouldn't rot. Bana Ali al Gabi base build an attic on top of his house. Al Gago on top of his roof. Regilan Hayulu no so sham lo. It's common then to build it there for a storehouse. Ma what's a lot? Imtim Salom Marimu Halon is Lavakdomi. If you're going to tell me that putting a lot of windows is not considered coming first. Here's the Kula Binyana, where the whole building was Lahachli of it, mine, when it was built for this, what's the Lacha? Tamir Rimonim, Hefnisham Tamarim Rimoni, you put in there dates and pomegranates. Me have these spell this oats, does that count as starting the storehouse? Odilma in Otzarella Betul behind the Shemin, or maybe you could tell me that you can't have a storehouse for anything other than grain, wine, and oil. Be'emet Miyainetiru, the Gemara says, Tana Miyainetiru Mibnei Shemeshpichel. The Gemara says by wine, they allowed it because it makes it better, the smoke or the fire or the heat underneath. Lower Efes is not enough, but you can't have a place where you're raising cattle underneath there. Mibnei Shemeshpichel because it makes it disgusting. Amr of Yosef says, Heidi done this of ours, Afilu Kutra the Shaga, our wine, even of the fire from the incense from a fire, from a candle, from a torch, Nami kashali is also hard for it, and therefore it's a problem. Amr Sheshes v'aspasta karefes bakar dami, and aspasta is like a refes bakar. See Rashi says, v'haididan yain shalonu afilu oshin ha'olim minaner. Our wine, even the smoke which comes up from a candle, kashal is hard for it. Aspasta shacha shel tvua. That means you're raising aspasta the chaff of the grain. It's very smelly. It's like refes bakar. Machma shehu because it gets wet and becomes all rotten and everything. Mischamim becomes hot. Umal asirchan raises up a very bad smell. A storehouse which is in a courtyard. Yachol lemkos biyado. You're able to protest it, and the other people of the courtyard can protest. I don't want it there. Any yachol lishon. I'm not able to sleep. Mikol and nechnasim mikol and yotzim, and people coming in, people coming out. I will also kalim yotze umocha, but he can make vessels and go out and sell them. In the marketplace. Any yachol limkos biyado is not able to protest in that sense. And say to them, any yachol lishon lo mikol pashav lo mikol amitayim. He says not able to sleep because of the hammering, or not because of the mill. Lo mikol tinokas, not from the kids. Why is the first case not a problem? The second case is a problem. Backwards. Why the first case is a problem, and the second case is not a problem? Amar Abaye says Seifa Asna Chatzacher. This was being taught for a different chutzner. When you can protest the things in your chutzner, saying you can't open a store there because you're making too much noise, the people coming in and out. But this for a different chutzner, you can't say there's too much hammering and stuff like that. Amar Abaye, if that was really the case, there's no Chatzacher is mutter. Why not just say, but a different chutzner would be mutter? We're talking even everything's the same. First and second case are the same. The only thing is one's talking this chutzner, one's talking that chutzner. And just say so. The chutzner is different. Okay, let's see Rashi. Lo mikol tinok. It's not from the sound of the kids. It's not that the Gemara is thinking tinokus abayim the knosiyim, the kids are coming to buy wine, v'shemen, and oil, b'kol davar nimka v'chanos, and everything which was sold in the store. It's too much noise. Those kids getting in there and buying this stuff. Ma'ishna. What's the difference? The Katani Yachol Omer any Yachol Shlomo says I'm not able to sleep. Mikol and Achnasim, the people coming in, Yotzim going out. The Sefer Katani any Yachol Omer, and the Sefer says not able to say this. Any Yachol Lishon Mikol, he's not able to say I'm not able to sleep because of the little kids. What's the difference? First opinion was one's this chazor, one's that chazor, and Rav is saying if so, then it doesn't make sense. Why didn't just say and other? If it would be another pair, different chazor, you'd be fine.